Alright, hey guys, this is Vaul, and it's time for me to sit down and answer some of the questions that you guys have been asking me over the last couple of weeks after I posted my FAQ prequel video, and I've got tons of questions here. Looking forward to having a big talk and rant about all of them. Thanks for writing these questions to me, and sorry if you guys didn't get a question in that you wanted. It's too late now. I'm just going to go through everything. If you have any further questions to ask after this video, you probably won't get them answered. Pretty much had your chance, but I'm gonna try to do the best that I can to cover as much stuff as possible in this video, or this little audio, shall we call it. Anyway, let's get straight stuck into it. The most important question that I want to answer is my computer specs, because I think I get asked that the most. I'll try to cover as much stuff as I can. Now, importantly, I'm running Microsoft Windows on my computer. I'm running XP Professional. I think I'm using a Service Pack 2. And by the way, guys, I just really don't know much about comp specs and software, so I'm just really sort of going by what I can dig up and what my friends have told me about my computer, because they helped me buy it and build it. Alright, so I'm running an Intel Core 2 Quad CPU Q6600 at 2.40 GHz, 3.2 gigs RAM. My graphics card's an NVIDIA GeForce 9800 GTX. And what else have we got here? We've got I think it's a 500 gigabyte hard drive, just stuff like that. Pretty hefty power supply there. I think that covers the main things. You can really get the gist of what I'm running out of that, and it runs stuff like Dawn of War, Warcraft fine, perfectly. Dawn of War 2, running that on max specs when I did the beta. I don't own a copy of Dawn of War 2 at the moment, but it will run StarCraft 2 fine. It'll run Diablo 3 fine. Won't really need to upgrade my computer for those games. I think it will run any game on the market at the moment on high specs, pretty much unflinchingly. So I've heard. So that's good news. Didn't spend too much on the computer, so really happy with it. All right, next important question: what software do you use to make your videos? And I'll go through it. I use Windows Movie Maker to process my videos, and it's a very simple editing program that comes with any copy of Windows. Sometimes I use a different program called ULEAD, Video Studio, if I need to do anything a little bit more detailed. The only difference between the two programs that really matters for me is that I can make little captions and subtitles and stuff more easily and more effectively in ULEAD. Otherwise, Windows Movie Maker is just a lot easier to use and more simple, so I generally use that. Now, I also use a program called Audacity to record audio. I use Fraps to record screen capture. I used to use GunCam, but I've switched to Fraps because it's a lot better. It cost me a lot of money. I could have pirated it, but I decided to go for Fraps because I decided to pay for Fraps because I just want something really reliable and I want it to be updated easily, and I just don't want any problems with my screen capture program because that's what my commentaries pretty much rely on. I also use another program called ASF Bin Master to split my videos up into 10-minute chunks or 11-minute chunks, however you want to see it, for YouTube. Most of these programs like Audacity and ASF Bin Master, I think, are accessible from a website called SourceForge, so look that one up if you're keen to try out some videos of your own. Anyway, that's it. So Windows Movie Maker, Audacity, ASF Bin Master, Fraps, that pretty much does everything that I need. So with that out of the way, let's go through some of these other questions in order of how they've been showing up in my comments. Okay, now that Dawn of War 2 has been released, how have you gone back and looked at it anymore? Yes, I have. I've been following the updates on the forums. It looks like Relic really just isn't satisfying people. Apparently, initially, Dawn of War 2 was just crashing for everybody, so they've had to fix that. The number of maps and game types that they've released have not cut it. The patches that they've released for it really just haven't dealt with key issues of the game. It's still a very dumbed down game. I know people don't like me saying that, but it's true. It's a very dumbed down game, and it's not interesting for me at this point in time, and it's definitely not worth the cost, so I haven't bought it. All right, next question. What current games are on your radar to try? Apparently, there's a rumor that the StarCraft 2 beta is only a few months away, so I'm not really going to try any other games until then. I'm just going to be playing tabletop instead. What kind of games do you like other than RTS? Well, I like RPG games. I very rarely try RTS. FPS rather. I tried Doom 3 ages ago, which was fun. But generally, I don't really get into games other than RTS and RPGs. Alright, oh, there's a cat in my room. You might hear that in the background. Alright, here's a question for you, Vaul. Why did you go with Tomb Kings as your Warhammer army? Well, some of you guys may be familiar with my music, which is the Disciples of Zoldan side project. It's very sort of heavy metal, stereotype themed music, and the whole idea of undead is something which I find really hilarious. So I like Tomb Kings for that reason. The main reason, though, is the Casket of Souls model. I thought that was really cool, and I love the concept when I read the rules for it. And so I've bought that model, and I've sort of based the Tomb Kings army that I've got around that. Next question might be a hard one to answer, but I would like to ask if you prefer Dawn of War 2, or Warhammer 40k Tabletop, and what is your order of preference? Well, probably 40k Tabletop, because it's had a more lasting effect on me and I could do more with it. Dawn of War 2, definitely the least. I think that game's a real disaster in terms of competitive play. Dawn of War original was much better in that respect. So I guess in order, 40k Tabletop, then Dawn of War, then Dawn of War 2. Alright, next question. 40k Apocalypse, the tabletop game. Have I played it? No, I haven't. I've been quite keen to play it, but I've gone off Warhammer 40,000 for various reasons. I'll answer that in a further question later on, but I haven't tried 40k Apocalypse. It looks cool. I'd like to give it a go, but I can't give you a rating on that. Have I played World of Warcraft? No, I don't, and I have never played it. I don't recommend anybody who plays that game unless they're really into it. I don't like that you have to pay to play that game, and also don't like the fact that that game takes up heaps of time without really providing any kind of learning or bettering oneself, improvement of skill. And that really just makes that game non-playable for me. I don't really want to spend a lot of time on a game that doesn't give me the opportunity to really improve my skill at something. So forget about that. Do you play any non-RTSs? Already sort of answered that question in a previous answer there. How am I finding the Tomb Kings, and which do you think is a better game out of 40k and fantasy? Alright, I'm finding Tomb Kings fantastic, really enjoying them, don't regret buying Tomb Kings. Spent a lot of money on them, but don't regret it. I think I'm enjoying fantasy a lot more than 40k. I think it's personal preference. They're both good games. The thing that I like more about fantasy is that it doesn't have an annoying armor penetration system where, for example, Space Marines armor value 3+. All you've got to do to counter Space Marines in some respect is come up with the most AP3 weapons you can. And Warhammer has got a system which hasn't changed too much over the last 20 years, whereas the 40k system has been compromised a lot and has become a little bit more focused towards newer players at the expense of some of the better feeling of games. And they've got a lot of annoying things going on. One quick example I'll give is the shooting system where, let's say you've got a squad of 10 Space Marines and you're being charged by 20 Orcs. And let's say the Orcs are within 12 inches of your Space Marines, so you rapid fire them. And you don't want the Orcs to charge you next turn, so you fire at the closest ones. But your opponent removes the models that he wants to, so he removes the Orcs at the back of the squad, leaving a few guys left within 12 inches, and they charge you next turn. It just feels a little bit unintuitive that players can do that. On the other hand, if you're expecting to charge the Orcs and your opponent doesn't want to be charged, he just removes the models closest to you guys to take your squad out of 12 inches. And just stuff like that I find kind of unintuitive and annoying. It's fiddly. And Warhammer is a little bit better for that kind of thing. Warhammer's still got a few fiddly, annoying mechanics which are kind of similar, but generally it's much better on the tactical side, and it's more about troop movements, and the background's a bit more consistent. So I'll cover that in a later video, I think, but for now I think that answer will have to do. What religion are you? What do you think of the UK monarchy? Somebody asked me that, I think, just out of for a laugh. I am an agnostic. I was a Christian for most of my life up until about 5 years ago. I am not a Christian anymore. I think my reasons for being a Christian were not good ones. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about that. As for the UK monarchy, can't really comment. I know a lot of people probably want to know personal, detailed questions about that little answer that I gave, but I'm not going to go into great detail about that. I think that'll have to do. Alright, what do I think of the Total War series? No idea.